Hey, it's A Humble Collector here, and in today's video we're going to take a look at the two-panel death card of Georg Holzapfel. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. So right off the bat, one of the first things that you'll notice, one of the most interesting on this card, is the painted-on uniform. So it wasn't super uncommon to see these on death cards. I have several examples in my collection, but basically if the family didn't have a picture of the soldier in uniform and they wanted that, there was a way that they could essentially paint it onto the picture and be able to have it that way. That being said, this is probably the crudest version of that I've ever seen. Frankly, it looks like a child drew it, and that could very well be the case. This might have been, there's nothing on his card telling me that he was or was not a parent. So he very well could have had a child that, this was their contribution. It could also be maybe they had a family friend who self-proclaimed to be an artist. I really don't know. But like I said, this is exceptionally crude compared to a lot of the ones that you see. Some of them you can barely even tell they're painted on. But moving the actual text of the card here. Died a hero's death for the fatherland, soldier Georg Holzapfel, who was a worker from Nosting, a participant in the campaigns in France and Russia, who was born on November 10th, 1910, and fell on October 13th, 1941. Now, I was actually able to find Georg's casualty record. I'll go ahead and put that up on screen. Georg was born in Wolfersdorf and was a member of the 10th Company of Infantry Regiment 519, which was part of the 296th Infantry Division. According to his casualty record, he died in a military hospital in Zhytomyr, Ukraine, and his cause of death is listed as a lengthwise infantry thigh shot, with the thigh bone being nicked, leading to an infected abscess. And there's a last part there that I can't really make out, but it's safe to assume that he died of some kind of infection. So the lengthwise infantry thigh shot's kind of odd, because that seems to imply that rather than coming from like the front where it's cutting horizontally across his leg, that it somehow went straight down his leg. So I don't know if that's an instance of maybe like a negligent discharge of maybe like his sidearm or his rifle or something like that, or if he was maybe laying down prone and took a bullet that way that had somehow hit his leg and not the rest of his body. It's a very odd, very specific thing, but apparently whatever happened, this bullet entered his thigh, apparently nicked his bone, and led to an infected abscess that eventually killed him. So yeah, very unusual wound, not one that I've seen before, I don't think. Now, before we move to the bottom of the card here, I do actually have cards for 3 other members of the 296th Infantry Division. Johann Thoma, who was a Gefreiter in Company 6 of Infantry Regiment 520, and he was killed by artillery at Kalina, Ukraine on December 27th, 1941. Ludwig Hessenhofer was an Obergefreiter in the 6th Company of Grenadier Regiment 521 and was killed by a gunshot to the chest at Dubysche, Ukraine on March 28th, 1943. And Georg Lechner, who was a pioneer in Company 3 of Pioneer Battalion 296, and he died at Gamel, Belarus on November 18th, 1943. Moving to the bottom of the card here. Oh, it's hard to believe that you'll never return. You had to give up your life so young. All our happiness is ruined. So rest well, you noble, good, loyal, beloved man. And then moving to the back of the card here. We adore you, Lord Jesus Christ, and desire you, for through your holy cross you have redeemed the world. A 3 years indulgence is laid out on February 2nd, 1934. So yeah, very interesting card. Like I said, between the very unusual injury that's recorded there and then the rather crude painted-on uniform, definitely an unusual one and one that I'm very happy to have in my collection. Sometimes I feel like people kind of get hung up on like what units are portrayed on the cards, but to me, pictures like this are really interesting, and then having the unusual story to kind of go along with it really makes it just a fascinating piece. So, hope you guys all enjoyed the video. Please leave a comment down below. Love hearing from you. Thank you all for watching. Happy collecting, and I'll see you all again very soon.